Hi, I'm Mike Carr.
And I'm Siobhan Spano.
There are three different types of ticks that are commonly found in Hillsborough: the dog tick, the deer tick, and the lesser-known Lone Star tick. We'll be focusing on the deer tick as they represent the greatest threat of causing an illness, such as Lyme disease. It is only after a larval tick feeds on its first host, usually a rodent, that they pick up the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. The white-tailed deer is the natural host for the deer tick. By keeping the lawn maintained and mowed will give you a buffer zone that the ticks don't want to cross. Now let's talk a little bit about tick behavior and how it can affect your interaction with ticks. A female tick lays up to 1,500 eggs on the forest floor in the leaf litter, usually in the month of May. These eggs hatch starting in July. Newly hatched ticks climb onto vegetation and wait for a host to come into contact with. Ticks are most active in warm weather. In the springtime and summer, nymphs are most active. Most Lyme disease cases also occur during these months of May and July while these nymphs are the most active, as opposed to in the fall when the adults are most active. Ticks are prone to desiccating or drying out. Because of this, ticks prefer shady, humid, damp, overgrown vegetation, including brush and high grass. On the other hand, they don't like mowed grass, trimmed bushes, groomed landscape, dry areas with lots of sun, as they quickly dry out in these areas. Ticks can detect breath and body odors of animals and humans, which help them identify hosts. Ticks are not acrobats. They don't jump or fly. They find their way onto a host by climbing up nearby vegetation, holding on with their back legs, and reaching out until they make contact with a passing by animal or human. One of the best ways to prevent contact with ticks is to properly maintain your property. Mow your grass, remove leaf litter, trim bushes and brush, keep a border between lawn and play areas and tick habitat. Ticks will not travel great distances through sunny, maintained areas in search of a host, such as people or pets. When hiking or walking in areas with heavy vegetation, stay in the middle of the trail. Groomed trails and well-maintained landscaping that includes low-cut grass and mulch are all tactics that you can use to help you protect yourself, your pets, and your children from ticks. Finally, thoroughly check yourself, your children, and your pets after each activity outside. So as a final message, focus more on preventing contact with ticks between yourself, your children, and your pets, rather than worrying about if a particular tick that you found on you has a disease or not. If you have any further questions on ticks or tick-borne illnesses, feel free to contact us at the Hillsborough Health Department, or here's a list of additional online resources for you.
Hi, my name is Siobhan Spano, and now we're going to focus more on Lyme disease that is caused by these ticks. As Mike said before, Lyme disease is caused by bacteria carried by deer ticks that picked it up while feeding on rodents and deer and other animals during its life cycle. They then transmit the bacteria to humans or pets when the ticks bite them. While there are a number of illnesses that can be spread by ticks, Lyme disease is generally the illness of most concern, with more than 40,000 cases each year in the United States. Tick-borne diseases, including Lyme disease, can range from mild flu-like symptoms to severe chronic infections. Tick-borne diseases are often difficult for physicians to diagnose because they have symptoms common with many other illnesses. The most common symptoms include fever and chills and aches and pains. Rashes can appear on some people specific to the tick-borne disease. For example, Lyme disease has a rash that looks like a bullseye, and between 70 to 80% of infected persons exhibit a rash at the site of this bite. The Lyme disease rash is usually warm, not itchy or painful. Although the classic bullseye is the most common rash associated with Lyme disease, there are variations. For example, there can be a red, expanding rash with no center, a ring of red with clear center, or other variations that you can read in the resources that we have for you at the end of this presentation. Also, don't be surprised if you see multiple rings on different parts of the body with this rash. So as Mike was saying before, check yourself after being outside. That's the most important thing. After spending time outside, try to shower within 2 hours if possible. You should do a visual check of yourself and your children and pets for ticks. You can also examine the gear and the clothing that you had with you while outside. Since ticks don't like dry conditions, you can also put your clothes in the dryer on high heat for 10 minutes to kill them. Now we're going to talk a little bit about using tick repellents. If you will be outside in an area likely to have ticks, the use of repellents is advisable. Repellents are effective at keeping ticks you encounter from staying on you. Use repellent that contains 20% or more DEET and follow product instructions. Repellents can also be used on clothing. See the EPA link at the resource page for more information on these chemicals. Also, it's helpful to wear light-colored clothing to make spotting ticks on you easier. Talk to your veterinarian about protecting your dog with products such as Frontline. Now we're going to talk a little bit about how to properly remove a tick. Most ticks that we're concerned about are attached, not the ones that are crawling on you and have not taken a blood meal. Simply remove those and discard. A tick must be actively feeding for 24 to 36 hours before the bacteria, such as Lyme, are transmitted. This provides a window of opportunity to find and remove them before they can transmit disease. Only use needle nose tweezers to remove ticks. You're going to want to sanitize, disinfect the tweezers with alcohol before you start. And you're also going to want to disinfect the site of where the tick is attached. If you think about this card as being your skin and this tick attached, you're going to want to get as close to the head of the tick as you can, going along the skin and grasping it at the head. Then you pull straight up, steadily and slowly until the tick is removed. Once you remove the tick, you're going to want to tape it to an index card and write the date on the index card of when you picked the tick off. Then you can put a piece of tape over the tick and then try to identify the tick using some of the resources that we have at the end of this presentation by looking at the tick under a magnifying glass. You can see all of the details on the tick and you can identify it. If the tick is a deer tick, then you're going to want to wait at least 30 days and up to 2 to 3 months after you remove the tick for signs and symptoms. Remember, even if it is a deer tick that you pulled off, it can't transmit Lyme disease unless it's attached for 24 to 36 hours. However, since the symptoms must appear before the test is done by your doctor, you should wait for up to 30 days to 3 months for symptoms to appear to speak with your doctor about the test. If you detect symptoms that we spoke of before within 30 days or more, please speak with your doctor about being treated with an antibiotic. You should always speak with your doctor if you have any questions or concerns about any symptoms that you might be unsure of.
Hopefully you found these tick tips helpful in keeping yourself and your family safe from ticks. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the Hillsborough Health Department anytime.